I have come across a personality who used to stutter as a child and he's emerged as a public speaker.
Imagine Preea coming back from school and not being able to sometimes express yourself. I could not gather the courage to go up and speak because I knew that I will stutter.
Tell me, when did you realize the stuttering part and it started to pull you down with your confidence?
A new teacher comes into class and asks you, hey, what is your name? And I go like, my name is Numer. And then the entire classroom is laughing at you. Sometimes even the faculty would enjoy such moments. These were really painful moments.
Were you bullied?
Yes, to a certain extent. Yes, it could have been worse. I do know of many people like me who are bullied to this day.
What kind of piece of advice would you give for this special category?
Big reason why people suffer what they suffer after trauma is they tend to lose their confidence here. Let the person accept that trauma. He or she does not need to hide what he's gone through. I don't need to hide what I've gone through. I accept that I stutter. What people tend to do, and I'm going to take my specs out so I can do this practically. If you stutter, Preea, I would tend to go like this, that I'm trying to understand you, and that would just kill your confidence.
Have you struggled in your childhood? Are you carrying any pain of your childhood? Is there someone who's inspired you all this while to come out of it? Do you need any help? I have come across a personality who used to stutter as a child and he's emerged as a public speaker. Can you believe it? The transition he had and the inspiration that he's now giving to so many people to overcome these fears. I'm very, very happy and proud to welcome Ahmed on our show.
Thank you very much for the heartfelt introduction, Preea, and thank you for having me over. It's my pleasure.
My pleasure as well. I really feel proud of you, Numer. I mean, I got so much of inspiration from you because even I had few fears as I was growing as a child. God's grace, I was surrounded with lovely people who used to keep motivating me, pushing me out of my comfort zone, and I was able to come out and overcome those fears. So your story is very, very inspiring and such a beautiful cause that you are working on to support those people to come out of their pain, how to overcome their fears. Let's understand your journey. How did this start?
Well, if I talk about Numer myself now, I'm someone who come across as cheerful, talkative, very, very chatty, going out there, liked to perform. But if I look at myself of my past, it was really difficult, and I think difficult is even an understatement if I say. Imagine Preea going to a school, coming back from school and not being able to sometimes even express yourself.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Imagine, I'll give a very simple example, which I believe the viewers can also relate to for themselves, for their children, Imagine you're at a quiz competition. It's a quiz competition open to the entire school, right? And there are awesome goodie bags, prizes to be given, and every kid is excited. And then a question is asked. I remember so well, the question was, what is the capital city of Ethiopia? And I knew the answer, right? All I had to do was walk up to the stage and tell the answer. And surprisingly, I was the only one who knew the answer. But I started taking steps, and halfway around, I turned back and I was back to where I started. I could not gather the courage to go up and speak because I knew that I will stutter. And I knew if I stutter, the crowd is going to make fun of me. They're going to bully me. And this was my normal life.
Oh my God. Were you bullied?
I would say yes, to a certain extent. Yes, it could have been worse. But by God's grace, I was born and brought up in this beautiful country where there are very strict rules in place. So I would not say that I was bullied, but I do know of many people like me who are bullied to this day. Yeah.
So tell me, when did you realize the stuttering part and it started to pull you down with your confidence? What were those incidents? When did it really start?
It would be like, when questions are asked in a class, right? And then you want to answer them and you cannot even tell them. A new teacher comes into class and asks you, hey, what is your name? And I go like, my name is Numer. Yeah, this is how I would speak. And then the entire classroom is laughing at you. And yes, I'm smiling about it now, but I did not smile about it back then.
I completely agree.
while the others were laughing at me, right? And sometimes even the faculty would enjoy such moments. So these were really painful moments. And I would come back home and I would cry to my mom and dad, I don't want to go to school. Kids make fun of me. I cannot express myself. I'm losing confidence. I would start to hide away from the world. I would start to hide away from myself. The amount of visibility I would give to the crowd in the school started to diminish. Yeah, and this started quite early. I think I was in my third grade, my fourth grade, when I started to realize that there is something wrong with the way I speak, right? And our education system, unfortunately, does not create the awareness of stuttering enough. If you go back, Priya, and if you look at where you studied or what you studied, I think there's hardly any talk about speech issues or stuttering or such fears. Yeah. And this is now that I've learned to manage this, I really want to go out there, speak to the whole world. Hey, guys, we can do it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, when you were coming out of this journey, which I really feel the pain, Numair, I can imagine myself as a child if it would happen to me, how I would feel. What was that moment for you to come, collect that courage to come out and start your new journey?
Right. That's indeed a very emotional moment for me. And I have to go back to a story of my late father. God bless him. So I lost him in 2021. So yes, my mom was always supportive. But for this one, I would really give credit to my father, whose name is Hafiz Bashar Ahmed, my late father again. And it was just a lovely weekend, yeah. And my father and I, we were watching a documentary on TV, yeah. And we were watching National Geographic Channel, right? So I guess you as well, Priya. I loved watching documentaries on animals.
Yes.
Me being an animal as well. So yes, I used to love watching animal documentaries, and that's when my dad reminded me that hey, Numair, the meaning or one of the meanings of your name Numair comes from Arabic, yeah, and it means tiger, Nimr.
Oh, wow.
Right. So sometimes I'm also called as Tiger Cub by the way, yeah, because Nimr is Numair, and Numair would then be, I mean, Nimr is tiger and Numair would be Tiger Cub, yeah. So that is the kind of
It's a beautiful thought, even to keep your name. That's beautiful.
so my dad being my all-time motivator, that's what he told me, to kind of bring some energy into me. And I kind of doubted it. I was like, yeah, but tigers and me, I'm someone who's hiding from the world. And this was a time where my insecurity, my lack of confidence was at its peak. I was really questioning sometimes my existence. It was really that bad. And at that time, my dad telling me was kind of something that I would not buy into. I would not believe. And then I told him that, Daddy, but tigers are all about being fearless. And look at me, I'm Numair, and I'm all about fear. And that's when he told me, Numair, this is where you get it wrong. The fear is giving you information, is giving you message. The point is, what are you doing about it? It's very easy to be a victim. I can be a victim all my life, cry about it, but what am I doing about it, right? And when I speak about this now, I even feel goosebumps now, kind of picturing that moment, visualizing that moment, because that was my eureka moment. And that's when I started to have that shift. Okay, what should I do about it? Let me accept that I stutter. What's next? This stuttering can't be my bottleneck. I have so much more to offer. And that's when things started to change. And then there are details of what I did next, yeah. So, but yes, this was indeed that moment, Priya.
Beautiful. And what was your age?
I would say I was in my fifth grade. So I would assume that was maybe 12,
Interesting.
11 or 12, yeah. Yeah, I would say so.
So it's good, and thanks to your father who helped you to make that change at a young age. There are people today, even if they've grown up, they still don't have those confidence. There are people who lack confidence with different reasons. Self-doubt is one of them. But when you have these challenges, which is being with you forever, I think your story, and thanks to your father again, at a very right age, he helped you to start regaining that confidence. And as you said, there are a lot of detailed stories after that. Tell me the first shift after that piece of advice. How did the cub, the tiger, started roaring?
Yes, yeah, indeed, the tiger started roaring, right? It was indeed a journey. It didn't happen overnight because there is no magic potion that one can have, and then he stops, stuttering. But yes, it indeed can be done. So as you can see, I can speak now.
I'm so
Wow, I can
proud of
speak.
you.
Wow, I still, kind of thank myself that I can, or
Bless
thank my
you.
dad that I can speak. Yes,
Bless.
it's indeed a blessing, Priya, like you rightly mentioned. Yeah. So after this little beautiful moment that we had, what I thought was I used to sing around. I mean, of course, in the bathroom, when like we all do. Priya, I'm sure you
Most of
do as
us.
well. Maybe you're perhaps a very good bathroom singer. Maybe we hear you. The
I'm
audience would
really
love to hear
bad.
Priya singing one
I'm
day, right?
really bad.
Okay. So I used to sing. I was a big fan of Backstreet Boys.
Oh
I was a
wow,
big fan
I
of Backstreet
remember
Boys
those
back in the
time.
day. Yes,
Yeah.
and I used to hum around, and I was like, let's take a first step. Let's go out there and try to sing. And like how they say, when you really want something, the universe makes it happen for
Correct.
you
So
when you
true.
manifest something. Alchemist, yeah. So I decided to take part in a singing competition, which was right, I think, in a month's time, if I remember well.
No way. From stuttering straight
Yes,
experiment of
yes, yes.
singing.
My first thing was from stuttering the S, let's move to singing the S. Yeah.
Wow.
And I took part in the competition, and people were apprehensive. I could see that there was a lot of murmur around, in my class. Even some of my best friends, I don't want to mention their names, but they know who they are. They were kind of talking about me that this guy is gonna sing really, or we're gonna have so much fun seeing him, sing ka 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 like that, right? But I took part, right? And what I did was I did not sing a song from Backstreet Boys, but I sang that very famous number called Bas Itna Sa Khwaab Hai from the movie Yes Boss of Shah Rukh Khan. I sung that, right? And believe me, I actually did such a good job that I was at the podium. I got the first prize.
Wow.
I got the
That's
first prize.
amazing. That's
Thank you.
amazing.
Yes, yeah. And I got the first prize. And I remember when I was announced, so when I did my performance and the results were only announced the next day, I finished my performance, I go home, and I go and I hug my mom and dad and I say, I did not stutter, I sang so well. The whole school is shocked. You should see their faces, right?
Wow.
And I remember that moment, my mom and dad, they hugged me, and that was kind of, the coming out of the tiger, if you say so. This is how it happened, and I actually got my first prize. And that was my first moment, and since then, things started to unfold. Talking about unfold, Priya,
Hi, coming
that
back to
is
me.
something that is something which is very close to you, isn't it? Right? So
Yes.
if you talk about unfold, I mean, unfold, unfold real estate and brokers or brokerage. There is iconic alphas. There is essentials of strategy and leadership, vision to victory, and there's Preea Mane. And then you see, guys, my fingers are over, so I have to use my next hand now. So tell us, someone who's like me, Priya, who have gone through this journey, what would be your take on this? If there is someone else out there who's struggling because of some of his deficiencies, yeah, with the experience that you have had to launch all this multiple careers, I would say, what would be your one advice there?
So, my advice is one, believe in yourself. Two is don't give up. Never give up. Three, if you're focused to create your own identity, and as you mentioned, the universe start working toward it. You come across those souls who help you shape your life. So my challenges were more about an introvert personality, being behind the scene, and here I am on the show.
Very introvert, Priya.
So again, it was a journey for me to push myself out of the comfort zone, and the corporate world, the corporate life did help me to work on those strengths. And that all strength that I've collected, all my education, support from my coaches, my mentors, my teachers, my colleagues, my family has helped me shape up to the person what I am today. And for 23 years being in corporate, that passion that was all bottled up, there was so much to do in life,
Yeah,
has
yeah.
really helped me to put everything in place. And thanks to the qualification I took from Michigan State University on strategy part, it's actually helped me to start running these ventures in parallel while I balance out and do justice to each one of them. So when I start that, and I started with my book of strategy, and I wanted to give back to the society. That's why I published the book, which is going to help a lot of people, whether you're in your corporate or whether you're in your own business. So the point here is Don't give up. Don't. So you listen to everybody for the advice, but do what your heart says.
Beautiful.
Because you know your capability.
Yeah.
Because there were people who were trying to put me into bracket. Go with the niche. Go with one. You don't get confused. Don't confuse people. But I have the potential and I know I can achieve and things are going in the right direction. So why should I limit myself? So yeah, here I
I mean,
am.
there's something beautiful that you mentioned across the lovely verse you said, that you talked about putting people putting you into a bracket, and that's something that really happens, right? When I stuttered all my life, I was put into a bracket. This guy, yeah, he can't speak. Let's make fun of him, and to and there's something about this whole situation that it gives you enough fuel, ammunition to break through and emerge out. Like you mentioned, the roaring tiger, right?
Yes.
The roaring Preea, for example,
Yes.
now, right? And this is where it makes even more beautiful, right? And now when you reflect back upon it, right, and you feel like, wow, all those experiences have actually made me what I am. And this is also what fuels me, Priya, to move forward, right? So when I used to stutter, and now when I look back about myself, perhaps if I did not have that background, I would not be doing what I'm doing.
Correct.
Right. So, I excelled at project management. I'm a passionate project manager, I would say. So I'm heading project management consultancy division for the international firm that I work for. It's called ILF Consulting Engineers. It's an Austrian German firm, and I execute large projects. For you, it might be, or for the world, it might be boring engineering projects, but believe me,
It is interesting.
believe me, they can be interesting as well. When we design pipelines, we transport energy, we basically decide or design how power is provided to this beautiful studio, by the way. So we do that across the world, and I love leading such projects, right? And in addition, I provide a lot of trainings for project management. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I do. So I love to bring out the best in people. I also love to bring out the best in my family. There's something great about training and development, that kind of satisfaction you get. I don't find it anywhere else. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is something that I love to. And I think a lot about how I feel doing this is because of what I've gone through in my life, right?
Right.
And, even now looking ahead and not just limiting myself to project management and then going into the world of public speaking, this is like finding a new me. So, we started with the stutterer, the singer, then the speaker. Yeah. So it's a lot of S's in my life, right?
Correct.
And seems like I should make S my lucky alphabet, Priya.
Yes, I feel so as well. That's interesting part. But throughout all these conversation, what I'm observing, number one, the support from the family.
That is also an S. Yeah.
Yes. That is something which helped you to start your journey, isn't it? Your own drive, your own passion, and the purpose that you have in life, which is very important for us to identify that purpose. Life is there, we have to earn money either from a job or a business or whatsoever. But what is that purpose of life? Because here you're on your journey, not only for your own self, but helping people out there through your training programs, through public speaking, to motivational speeches. Even if when you're talking about the project management and you're addressing so many people, you are teaching a lot out there. So I feel that's kind of a purpose in your life. Would you want to elaborate on your purpose of life?
It's absolutely. I think it's really important to have a purpose in your life, right? Otherwise, your life starts to feel a little meaningless. Yeah. And we need to have that kind of something to look forward to. And Priya, you're doing a lot of work where you're giving back to the world, right? And that's inspiring. And I can relate to how that would feel, because I've started to feel that way. Helping others, helping project engineers or budding project managers expert, or let's say develop in their field, yeah. And then now helping people who stutter, who have fear of speaking, how to manage their fears and come out there and talk. Because people like me, I should say, who have stuttered and who have learned to manage the stuttering part, there's a lot that we would like to express, which we have kept beneath ourselves, beneath our hearts, yeah? And we want to go out there and we want to share our stories. And this stuttering or the issue of speaking, if you're not able to do that properly, it really comes in your way.
Correct.
It affects your personal life. It affects your career. It affects everything from your confidence to your relationships, about how you are seen by the world. And if you cannot communicate yourself, even in project management, project manager is communicating 90% of his time. He's either talking, he's writing letters, he's, I don't know, attending meetings, presentations, etc., etc., etc. So communication is so important. And if you take out communication from someone's life, what is actually there? And having gone through that, I'm so motivated to make that difference. I have, students, I have youngsters who are approaching me already, and I'm conducting classes where I'm actually helping them overcome their, actually stuttering. And the kind of kick I get by supporting them, that's just beautiful. And that's something that one should actually feel, right? So elaborating on this journey of stuttering, right? So if you get all technical, stuttering is actually largely divided into three categories here. There is, I would say, developmental stuttering, where kids from the age between 2 to 5, they stutter when they're trying to learn how to speak or they're learning a language, and that tends to naturally go away. That's perfectly normal. And then the extreme one is, I'll come to the middle one later on. The extreme one is something known as psychogenic, stuttering, where people stutter if they have experienced a trauma or an accident in their life. And that is a really bad situation to be in. The one which is common, the one which I had or have, I can say, it's called neurogenic stuttering, where your brain waves start to move so fast. We like to think about so many things at once, and your pace of speech cannot keep up with your brain. So your brain is trying to process information, is giving your mouth to speak, but your mouth is not able to speak at the same time. And then you stutter, then I stutter.
Because of the gap.
Exactly.
This is going very fast.
Right. And then there are ways to train your brain. And this is what I teach my students, how you can train your brain and you can manage stuttering.
It's so nice that we have solutions today to be able to manage it. And I'm sure this is going to help a lot of people. So tell me, Numair, about the three categories that you mentioned. The one which is extreme one, where people go through trauma and that's where they end up stuttering. So as you have a solution for your case, which is the middle part, do you have solutions for the extremes as well?
Yes, they say that the reason why we have problems because we always have solutions, So,
Yes.
so then there are solutions for everything in the world. I mean, I'm sure, Preea, you have come through so many challenges in your life, which I believe you may have also mentioned in your lovely book. And then you have come out, or you have found solutions for them. So yes, there is solution for everything, and that is the good news. So even for the neurogenic one, which is the kind of the standard stuttering, the one which I have, the one which is the extreme case, the psychogenic one, there are solutions. Yeah. So yes, if you talk from medical terms, there is speech therapy, and something as simple as which you can start at home is really meditation and breathing. Because many a times people who stutter, as funny as it sounds, we do not know when to breathe when we speak. So when I'm speaking right now, I had to really train myself when I should pause and breathe. And what we also need to learn is to use certain words to let the air flow.
Okay.
Because we tend to just speak in one breath and we don't pause enough. Right? So something simple as that makes a huge difference in your life. And to the caretakers out there, or to the parents out there who are taking care of their children, or whoever that would be, there are simple things that you could do to help people who stutter.
Correct.
So for example, right now, Preea, you and I are talking, and if I stutter, it's very helpful and important for you to keep a normal face. Because what people tend to do, so if and I'm going to take my my specs out so I can show this practically. If you stutter, Preea, I would tend to go like this, that I'm trying to understand you, and that would just kill your confidence.
Oh,
And that's what happens.
I think it's a good message out there
Yes.
to people,
Yes.
not to react and
Yes.
support the communication to go normally. Yeah.
And that's something which I've not read anywhere. This is really my own experience, and the people that I'm sharing this with now, I already start to see a difference. I have parents approaching me and asking me, what should I do towards my children? How can I help them? And when I tell them, they're like, wow, we didn't think about it this way. Yeah. So this is something that really helps. In addition to this, a common practice is for people to try to complete other sentences.
I have that bad habit. I need to stop
Yes,
it.
yeah, right. So Priya guilty as charged, right? So so if I stutter, let me stutter, let me finish what I want to say, and that's the best thing that you can do for that person. The moment you start completing his sentences, he's always gonna be adapted to a situation like, yeah, I'm gonna stutter a bit, I'm not gonna put any more effort, the other person will complete my sentence. Why should I put more effort? He will do it for me or she'll do it for me. Yeah. So these are some, very easy to do techniques which we are not aware of, which can make, a big difference. It can give you 10x value. Yeah. Something that you can really start right now. Priya. Yes.
I need to start. But amazing. I mean, these basic tips also helps a lot. I'm sure there's a lot to offer when it comes to a detailed training and awareness that you are carrying out. Now, when I am insisting on the extreme part where people go through the trauma, there is something which is scientific and can be managed. But I think in this particular case, there has to be two therapy done. One is just speech therapy, and there is something which is a psychological support
Right.
to manage the trauma.
Yeah.
What kind of piece of advice would you give for this special category
Right.
where there are double effort to be given?
Indeed.
And of course, a lot of patience required by the family and the friends who are around. And how would they extend this support for the person to come out and become a strong personality?
Yeah, Priya, it's something beautiful that you asked, and if you reflect back upon what you told in this podcast recording already, you talked about believing in yourself.
Yes.
A big reason why people suffer what they suffer after trauma is they tend to lose their confidence. Yeah. So if you can prepare a person to regain that confidence, if you can have sessions with the person where you remind how beautiful and strong that person is, what that person has achieved in their life, let the person accept that trauma. He or she does not need to hide what he's gone through. I don't need to hide what I've gone through. I accept that I stutter. Yeah. Right. Acceptance, right? Beautiful. When you accept, you have that acceptance behind you. So that's done and dusted. And when you start believing in yourself, it starts to make such a big difference. Yeah. And there are people out there are celebrities out there who have gone through traumas.
Yes.
Elvis Presley has gone through a trauma in his life, and he used to stutter. And he became he used to be known as the king of pop, right? Famous actress Emily Blunt used to stutter. Ed Sheeran used to stutter. And now they are doing what they are doing. Yeah, Joe Biden used to stutter.
Oh, is it?
And then he stutters,
Wow.
right? Nelson Mandela, I think this is a very, very popular person who used to stutter. So there are so many examples out there. And what really changed in their life was after the trauma that they went through, whatever that was, they had this kind of, education or the sessions done, therapy done on them, where they were reminded of what they have achieved,
Yes.
right? And this makes such a big difference. Yeah. I tend to believe that often these things are seen as blah, 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 but going through it and seeing it and reading and studying about it and the scientific proof that we have, this actually works. And people need to start giving more weightage to it. People need to start giving more importance to it. Mind is such a powerful tool.
Yes.
Right? Right, Priya?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It really plays around with us. We need to learn to control it to our benefit, what we want to achieve. And if we train that and we listen to those small whispers that comes, it gives us alarm and alert
Yeah.
for us to keep navigating our path and move into the right direction. I think once we train and we understand, it really helps us.
Right. Absolutely. Beautiful. I like the way you describe it with the alarms and signals. Yeah. That takes me back to engineering as well, by the way, Priya.
Tell me something interesting that happened during your engineering studies, because I know, or I've heard, I must say, there's a lot of bullying that happens, especially when you go into the engineering
Are you
field.
talking about the
or
ragging part?
The ragging
Yes,
part.
of course. Yes.
So tell me, have you been the naughty one or have you been the victim?
Okay, so I was lucky from that part that my elder brother was in my same university.
You're
So
protected
I was taken
one.
care of. But however, I was just like, I don't want this extra brotherly support. I'm going to take care of myself,
Oh,
right? So I
wow,
was
the
like
tiger in you always
tiger
comes
in
out.
me, yes. Tiger in me coming from the lion in my father. Yes,
Wow.
yes, the tiger in me indeed. So I deliberately walked up. So there was this area near the food court of my university, and that was the hot zone where kids or students used to be bullied or ragged, right? The intros and all that. I deliberately walked up there
Oh, wow.
because I wanted them to rag me. I mean, one
That's interesting to
one small
know.
reason for that was because I had a trick which I'm gonna share shortly, and I knew that this is gonna get me popular. I was like,
Okay.
I want to become Mr. Popular. Yeah. So
Interesting.
I go up there, and they said, "Hey, apna intro de." You know the typical thing. Please give your introduction. And then I said, "Yes, I'm Numair." And they were like, "What will you do for us today?" You know, this senior, very heroes, yeah, heroes of the university. And what I did, next, the guy who stuttered rapped over there.
Oh,
I
wow.
rapped. I can rap now, by the
That's
way.
your another talent. You
Yes,
rap.
yes,
That's
yes.
awesome. I would like to hear something. Please. Grace us.
Okay, grace. Yeah, grace is such a nice. Grace is a very graceful word, by the way, Priya. So, I can actually repeat what I did during my rag game. I went up there. So there was this silence. And, when I was done with my rapping, they all had their jaws dropped down.
Wow.
So here's what I did. I stood, and they were like, yeah, this guy's gonna sing national anthem or something like that. I'm gonna start with Jana Gana Mana or, Ishi Biladi. But I started something like this. I said, I don't want to be the one to blame you like funny games. Keep playing them. I'm just saying. Think back then we was like one and the same on the right track, but I was on the wrong train. It's like that. Now you got a face to pain, and a devil's got a fresh new place to play. In a brain like a maze, you can never escape the brain. Every damn place the same shade of gray. Hey,
Wow.
I did this, and they were just like, I mean, they were actually worse than you, Priya. Priya, you're doing a great job. They were just like
Started.
stunned.
Yeah. Wow. That was amazing.
So yeah, so this is what I did, and then now this how I became popular in my university.
Interesting. You know what's important over here is you have to stand for yourself.
Exactly.
No one can help you. You can help yourself.
Yeah.
Until the time you don't stand for yourself, nobody's coming there to help you. So, well done. What
Thank
an
you.
inspiration. I love the way you always overcome all those fears. You are going head on and you're doing amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. Awesome. So, tell me one thing. Say, if you were a superhero,
Mm-hmm.
who would it be? And what would that superhero do?
If I were a superhero,
Yes.
well, I do. I mean, what hits my mind right now is I love to travel. Well, sometimes my wife complains that I'm traveling too much. I mean, I'd like to take her as well, but for business, I'm normally traveling myself here. So, yes, I would love to fly. So, I would love to be Superman. I would like to dress more appropriately, I would say.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer, yes. But then I would love to fly around the world. I would like to reach out to as many people as I can, different cultures as I can, because I see there's a lot more to learn. So whenever I'm meeting something new, and when I met you for the first time, Priya, there was so much that I learned from your beautiful journey that you have gone through, you are going through, which you're carving for rest of the world to follow, right? And similarly for me, I like to meet different people, learn from them, share my experiences, yeah, try not to stutter at that time. And then even surprise them by rapping sometimes, yeah. And then I love sports, so that's something else about me. When I was kind of unfolding myself after my singing journey, I got into sports, athletics, all of that. So I like to discuss about sports. I like to talk about football, about athletics, about cricket, about different kinds of sports. So there are a list of sports that I follow, and then I play as well. So I always find common topics to interact with other people, yeah. So definitely Superman, going around flying and talking to people, yeah.
And what impact will you make?
What impact will I make? I will help people, like, hey, take that first step, move forward, look at me. If a guy who used to stutter can do so much, you guys can move mountains, yeah. You guys can do so much in the world. You guys are blessed here. Even right now when I'm speaking, I'm managing my stuttering and I'm talking. When I'm leading my big project meetings, I'm managing my stuttering. Yeah, when I'm going out there to clients, I'm making presentations, I'm managing my stuttering. Same for trainings as well. But all of you, most of you, I should say, at least, you do not have that in you.
Yeah.
You have other challenges, right? And this is an example. If you could draw this from me, and if I can give this contagious confidence to you, you use that and you overcome your fear, who knows what you're going to create? 3 brands, maybe 5 brands, Priya, who knows?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Really inspiring. And yes, it is contagious. And I have taken those inspiration from you. Thank you. It's going to help me from a long-term perspective for sure. And many of our listeners as well. So if you want to have dinner with one of the leading personality or the leaders across the globe. Who will it be? And what will be the topic that you want to discuss while having lunch or dinner with them?
Right. It's funny that I've been asked this question before.
Is it?
Yes, and I'm gonna give the same answer that I did about 5 years ago.
Okay.
So this would be the CEO of the organization that I work for. His name is Klaus Lasser. So Klaus, you'll be happy to be hearing this again for the second time. So it was a nice, I was interviewed earlier by my company, and I made the statement, and then he invited me for a dinner. Right. So looks like we're going to be having this moment
Second
again
time.
soon. Yeah. So, but yeah, what really inspires me about him is that he really walks his talk.
Wow.
So he's really promoting sustainability, and he's even living this year. He's built this lovely organization, this engineering firm, and we do a lot of sustainable engineering projects. And it's not that it's something that he's doing commercially. He's even practicing that at his home. So if you follow his normal life, he's got rid of all kinds of energy sources that contribute towards greenhouse gases, or that contribute towards, or that leave a large CO2 footprint. Yeah, and that's something that really inspires me.
So nice.
And the analogy I bring in is that I'm finding sustainable ways to help people overcome their fears. That's why all these tricks of, don't stop people from completing their sentences, or even something as simple as keep a straight face. Yeah. Or there are some other tricks. If you have more time, we can talk about springboarding. We can talk about, breathing activities. We can talk about mirror talk. So there's a lot more that we can do in a sustainable manner. So this is where I draw inspiration from Klaus here.
Amazing. So that's a second dinner waiting for you.
Hopefully, yes. Yeah.
So when you say travel, you like to travel and you have been in many places. Which has been your favorite place?
Paris, straight away.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was that you fell in love with in that place?
Well, Paris, is kind of a double-edged sword. So the first time I went to Paris, that was without my family. Okay, and so I was in Vienna for a training on project management. I was there for about a month, and then I surprised my whole family. So I went to Paris from there on a weekend. I turned my camera on. I called my family and then say, "Hey guys, see, I'm in front of Eiffel Tower."
Wow.
Yeah, and I didn't expect that they would be more angry and jealous than being happy. Yeah, so that was the
amazing.
incident. And then it was kind of, forced that now I have to bring my family to Paris, right? So then we definitely traveled to Paris, right? So
Nice.
that's something that I really enjoyed. I mean, Europe has a lot of history to it, a lot of, art and culture and heritage, a lot of museums here. So it's beautiful to see. And there's something very unique about Paris, yeah? I mean, walking down the streets there, seeing the fashionable people there, hearing their accent even,
Yeah,
that's something that I
true.
find really, and also my family found very, very interesting. Yeah.
Very nice. When you speak about Europe, and this is something that even I have observed, they really respect the culture, the way they have maintained the culture while the modern world is also evolving, and how much they appreciate the culture, their history. It's really something that we all need to learn, isn't it? And you can feel that throughout the day, wherever you are, whether you are in your work environment, whether you're going to the museum, whether you're talking to people, it's all about the heritage that they carry, isn't it?
Right,
And
right.
warm people as well.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Yeah. And I second to that, Priya, and they are even preserving their history.
Yes.
So when you go to certain places, you see that there are things kept, intact as they are. Like in particular, if you visit Italy, if you visit Rome, you will see things which are century old, right? And it's beautiful to understand and learn how this thing was actually created, yeah, years and years and years ago. So yes, indeed, they really value it, yeah, and that really kind of reciprocates in the culture as well.
Beautiful. So tell me one thing. When you are in your corporate environment, right? Has stuttering ever become an issue in your corporate work life? Did you have any challenges that you would want to share? How did you overcome? And how did people pursue you in the beginning of your career
Yep. Yeah.
when they came across? And how did they welcome? How did they manage? And how is the journey going now?
Indeed. No, that's a question really close to my heart, Priya. Thank you very much for that really personal question. And I'm really happy to share with this. So when I joined, so I'm working for this organization for the last 15 years. So I've been with them for some time now. And my trick, and this is also a message to the audience, when I signed up with ILF, right, my first day, I said, guys, I stutter, right? And this whole thing is out of my way, So instead of allowing them to judge me and comment on me and kind of notice or feel sympathy and pity on me, I go out there and I say, hey guys, I stutter. And that's a big shock for them. So while that is out of the way, then we're discussing business, yeah? And what is beautiful is over the years, I'm the person who's now hosting or comparing all the corporate events of my organization. I think for the last 5 years,
Amazing.
I'm the one who's, leading all these events, team building activities, all of that. So you see, while this stuttering can be such a big bottleneck, it can also be your strength,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And this is the example that I'm living, right? And this is something that I want to share with all the audiences out there who have issues with speaking. Yeah, there's so much more that we can do once we learn to manage this. Yeah, there's so much out there here.
Convert your weakness into the strength.
Yes.
This is what I've learned from you.
Yes. Vision to victory, Preea.
Yes. No, it's so important that you recognize that, you're aware of that, you acknowledge that, and you make people aware right in the beginning to avoid any kind of dissatisfactory behaviors coming out of it.
Right.
So you have made that weakness into your strength, and that's really commendable. And I'm sure a lot of people out there, when they're listening to you, are going to take this as an inspiration. Count your blessings, believe in yourself, don't let anything put you down. Right? Make your weakness into your strength.
Never give up, like you said. Yes.
So many things out there.
Absolutely.
Which is coming out of your whole journey, which I think is not only limited to a certain age group, it's for everyone. Not people who are facing challenges which comes along, but sometimes it's a mindset where people hold themselves behind, right? That also I find it's a challenge, correct?
Right.
Sometimes we are very good at things, but we are holding ourselves behind, thinking what other person will think.
Yeah.
Or am I good enough?
Yes. Am I good enough? Absolutely.
Yeah. If I
Yes.
speak, will it be perceived in the right way?
Yeah.
So is it right? Is it wrong? So I think there's no right or wrong. Just go for it. Yes. Maximum what will happen? It's a no as an answer.
Exactly.
But give it a try. This is what I feel. What's your opinion on those?
No, absolutely. And I really like how you frame that, right? It's just a no as an answer, yeah? And somehow, yeah, how the world brings you up, how you're brought up, yeah, we are so scared of hearing this word no.
Yes.
Just this two-letter word has such a big significance in our life. One of the best advices that I've heard in my life, which I really follow, is that progress happens in the uncomfortable zone. And what I can also relate is something very beautiful that you told about no. If you are not hearing enough no's, that means you're actually not progressing in your life. Because it's very easy for someone to say yes to everything that you're asking because you're just staying in your comfortable zone.
Correct.
You're only asking for things which are acceptable to others. But it's only when you progress, you start challenging yourself and others as well. And that's when you start to hear no. And the journey of, from no to the beautiful three-letter word yes is so beautiful, right, Preea? And again, 3, and it brings me back to your 3 brands, by the way. The power of 3 is always with Preea, guys. Yeah.
And I believe in this,
Yes,
it's
yeah.
easy. It's psychological as well. It's easy to communicate. It's easy to retain as well, correct?
Yeah.
So and that's the reason I had always 3 in my mind when I start my journey in my entrepreneurial journey.
Yes,
So,
yes. And this brings me to another 3, by the way. I don't know if you haven't realized the 3 V's in your life.
Oh,
Preea.
yes.
Yes. Indeed, the power of 3, right?
Yes. And the power of 3, they have been the pillar of my life.
Yeah.
Starting from Vikram, my love of life, my strength. I give the biggest credit to him to bring the tigress out.
Yeah.
When I was an introvert, the way he used to push me to get myself out there. I started to live my life as me, myself. When I came across him, I met him. I met his mother, who played a big role as well. Talking about my 2 other V's, my little ones, my strength.
How sweet, yeah.
Can you believe the book cover of my book has been designed by my elder son, Vishal?
Wow, that's commendable.
That's commendable.
Awesome.
And it was so simple for him. I was struggling. I was getting certain options. And he just came and he's like, what are you trying to do, Mama? I said, I'm stuck over here. And he was here on a vacation. So I was just showing him these are the options. He's like, relax. He took the laptop and he created within 10-15 minutes and it's done. It's like, wow.
Wow.
And it's really nice. And I've received beautiful feedback on it. So thank you, Vishal.
Thank you, Vishal. Well done. Score. Yeah.
Yes. And the little one.
Yes.
My best friend, my best critic, my coach is someone I always fail for negotiation. I can win negotiation with the world, but not him.
Wow.
So, and a lot of inspiration from him as well. And he's been on this whole journey of my transition and a lot of feedback that comes from him. He even coaches me, he gives me feedback. So it's beautiful. So all three V's have played major role. So power of three,
Wow.
my love.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then that's again your vision to victory, right? The additional V's then.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Beautifully done, by the way.
Thank you so much. And again, coming back to the strength that we collect with the support of the family. I mean, I insist this in every single podcast. We have to support each other.
Right.
That's when we all come up with our strengths, right? And even in your case, it was your father, right?
Yeah.
So this is my message to everybody. Come together, support each other, and grow
Right.
together.
Right.
Right.
Right. Indeed. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. Something we can all relate with, right?
Yes. So, Numer, I came across young people. Now, because of so much information out there, the way technology is emerging, the way the distraction is there, there's some kind of focus which is missing out. When we speak about youth empowerment, everything that you're doing is, helping them grow, helping them overcome those challenges, and help them to focus in their areas. What would be your one message to empower those youth out there to try to balance those distractions, a lot of information, but how would they shape up their life in a very focused manner?
Right. I mean, this question is really the need of the hour, right? That's what we really need with all the access that we have to. And I too have a daughter who's 6 and I have to think about her future as well, right, Preea? So yes, I mean, if I want to summarize it, right? And we're just talking about the support of family, yeah? So what my mom and dad both have always told me, and I'm going to say this in Hindi, अपने बच्चों को सोने का निवाला खिलाओ पर उन्हें देखो शेर की नज़र से. And what that means is, in English, I try to now speak this in English, is that you feed your children with a golden spoon. You give them all the love, care, tenderness, yeah? But for certain things, you have to watch them. You have to monitor them, right? And this is the balance. I think the balance is the key that we need to keep. Yeah, I think that's what parents, that's what family, that's what elders can do towards their loved ones. Yeah, the growing kids, the growing teenagers, right? So that's from this side, and a teenager from his side. And I work a lot with kids or teenagers or in people who are in their 20s, right? Is to really not limit yourself to what you see, because it's never enough. You earlier talked about, am I good enough? Let's give it a different spin. Let's say that there's so much more that we all can do. I do a lot of running, Preea, and when I'm towards the end of my stamina, when I want to give up and I have 5 more kilometers to run, I do this little mental trick with me. I say that I've only used 60% of my fuel, and I start saying this to me while I run. I've just used 60%. I have 40 more percent to go. And the moment I start doing that, I actually complete my thing.
Wow.
And the same thing has been happening to me all of my journey, all that we discuss now in this session, from me stuttering to me singing, me getting into project management, doing my work, excelling at my work, and now public speaking, helping others. If I just said yes, okay, I stuttered, and then now I'm working, I'm happy with my life, that is enough. No, but there's so much more that you can do there. There's so much more you can give back, like how you are doing as well, Preea, how you're giving back to the world. And we need to kind of nurture our young ones to have that thought right at that age. These are beautiful, these are future diamonds that are being carved right at that tender age, right? So if you put in that thought that always go much more than what you can do and bring that element of helping others, contributing back with whatever you can do, I'm sure every single person has something beautiful to offer to this entire world. Don't you think so, Preea?
Completely agree with you on this one, Umair. Well said, and the way you structured it and you put the message out there, very powerful, very impactful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on the show, gracing us with your stories, your challenges, and everything that you're doing for so many people out there. I wish you success and may God bless you.
Thank you very much, Preea.
Pleasure.